we had to summarise the 20 findings, we'd talk about improving structural flexibility. So structural flexibility, and that applies to productive supply chains, infrastructure and labour markets.
We want to work with government to maximise the future growth of their economies. Each of these actions will remove uncertainty, it will install confidence in investors, and it will help governments lift economic activity.
And what this is really about is the types of reforms that aid flexibility, the reforms that enable greater participation for the likes of women, mature age, youth, reforms that create pace and reduce costs for cross-border labour mobility.
As business leaders, we instinctively see the value of freer trade in our day-to-day lives. We see the benefits not only for our own businesses, but for the broader economy.
If you can get all the rules to be the same around the world, it can make one hell of a difference to the outcome.
So it's time as business leaders, working cooperatively with our government partners to get things done. We've got these policies, we're giving them to the G20. If you don't do them, you're not going to get anywhere close to that 2%, and that would be a problem. And the voice of business has got to be very, very loud. We've got to demand, and we've got to work cooperatively with our governments.
Is that we are getting more protectionists at a slower rate, but we're still getting more protectionists, which is not necessarily good news. So we need to reverse that, and I think that we cannot be living with rules and disciplines which were negotiated when we didn't even have the internet. It is the small and medium enterprises that need trade facilitation. It's not the big corporations. So anybody who is saying that trade facilitation is about serving the interests of the big corporations, they're missing the point. So it is not for the big corporation, it is not for the big countries, because the big countries always do that.
Can I echo a comment that Nicholas Moore, one of the Australian Leadership Group, made to me just a few minutes ago, saying in some ways the stars of this process have been the Australian government, the leadership of the Prime Minister, the Treasurer and the Minister in setting goals and outlines at the beginning of this year that has enabled us to come up with practical recommendations. So can I, as they come up and give that to them, also thank them for their leadership. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. That's it. Thank you.
And may I commend you and all of your team on an outstanding effort in bringing real drive to the B20. But importantly, business has a key role in stiffening the spines of finance ministers. It is always important in politics to have, either through our good friends in the Fourth Estate, in the media, or our good friends in business, or community leaders more generally, to have people that remind us of the importance of maintaining consistent values. This comes back to structural reform. If you undertake structural reform, it's not about today or tomorrow, it's about the day after, the months after, the years after.
Found around the world, everywhere I've gone, the world's awash with cash. But it is this risk issue, the uncertainty associated with so much geopolitical issues around the world and the economic issues has made people, the investors, very risk averse, and they're looking for stability and certainty, which gives a few countries, including our own, a real advantage. But secondly, they need projects. They're all saying there's plenty of cash but no projects. Now I think the problem is going to be food security and water security. I think it is the century of food and water and energy security. And I look at China, and there I see in the last 15 to 20 years, China has brought 500 million people out of poverty. It is the most significant humanitarian miracle in world history.